It's July, the sun is shining, it's West Sussex, which means there's only one thing. It's the Goodwood Festival of Speed.
And there's plenty of new offerings on the EV world as well. Lots of new stuff from China, and Brian's even going up the hill in something new.
That's right, and as you can see from this stunning display behind us, MG is this year's featured mark. So, without further ado, let's crack on with it. Welcome to the 2024 Goodwood Festival of Speed.
And welcome to AutoEV. Right, this is the Gran Berlinetta from Genesis. It looks absolutely stunning, and it's part of the new Magma range from Genesis. And this is just a concept, but it's so sleek. It's given me Ford F3L vibes, a bit of a retro look, but it's got a really low drag coefficient, and it's got over 1,000 brake horsepower. It's just stunning. Right, this is the GV60 Magma, part of the Magma range, and this shares the platform with the Ioniq 5N. So if that's anything to go by, this could be a fantastic performing car, and I just love what they've done with the styling. They've really changed the look for Genesis. They've got this kind of retro wheel disc fan look, just the orange and the black trim. I just think this could be great. Right, we're here with the Alpine A290. This is the production version of this car. Last year we saw the Concept, which was very much a race car with its 3-seat configuration. But this just looks stunning. They've just changed a few little details, and just the aggressive look of this is just fantastic. It reminds me of the old Renault Turbo 2 with these kind of vents here and the vents at the back. It just looks great. Okay, right, we're on the Alpine stand, and Alpine's one of our channel favourites. We love Alpine. And we're here with this new hydrogen concept, the Alpenglow. Sounds a bit like a breakfast cereal, but I actually love the look of this thing. It's got kind of hints of the old Alpine Le Mans cars with the long tail at the back. But this is a 4-cylinder combustion engine powered hydrogen, and it's kicking out 340 brake horsepower. So it's a really interesting car, and this thing actually moves. We've seen this at Villa d'Este moving down the road, so it just looks stunning.
One thing you can be sure of at the Festival of Speed is a surprise, and this was certainly a surprise for us. The new MG Cyber GT. Now think of it as the Cyberster as a coupe, in the same way the MGB Roadster had the MGB GT next to it. No word on actual production as yet, but it is making its world debut here at the Goodwood Festival of Speed for 2024, as well as the Cyberster, which is also making its actual production debut here as well. I have to say, I think this is destined for production, and if it is, MG are certainly going from strength to strength with this. Now, if there's one brand that's been very, very busy in 2024, it's Mini, because this is the third new product that they've launched. We've already seen the new Cooper, the small hatchback, we've already seen the Countryman, and this is the UK debut of the Aceman. Now that's going to fit in between the two cars, so it's going to replace the old Clubman effectively. If you're thinking size-wise, it's roughly a similar size to the old R60 Countryman. You're going to get it in two varieties. You're going to get an Aceman E, which is going to have a WLTP range of just under 200 miles, and an Aceman SE with a slightly bigger battery that's going to go up to about 250 miles. And then obviously in between that there's going to be different power variants as well. Prices in the UK start from around about £32,000 for the basic Aceman E and around about £36,000 for the SE. Let's take a jump inside with Charlie and see what he makes of the car. Charlie, you're joining me in the new Mini Aceman. Silly name.
It's the John Cooper Works version.
This is it, yeah. This is so. As I was saying, there's two versions coming. You got the E or the SE. This is a slightly bigger one. The SE model, more power. 218 horsepower or so. Lists at 36,000, but this car here is about 45 grand. On sale in the UK now for deliveries around about November.
Yeah.
What do you think of the interior?
I love it. I love what they've done with this. I love this kind of material finish and these little touches on the John Cooper Works one.
It's really nice, that checkered flag look there. Now, obviously, a couple of the popular videos we've done recently is the new Countryman and obviously the new Cooper. And this is the third model that Mini are launching this year, so they're a completely new range of cars. And this is their 5-door kind of crossover.
This is really chunky, isn't it? I love this.
Really, it feels premium, yet real nod to the old Mini with the circular
with the circular. It's a modern take on it.
Just the bank of switches. But I think it looks really cool.
It looks really cool.
The styling on the outside, I'm still trying to get used to.
The angular kind of features.
But the inside,
it's growing on me.
It is. But the inside, I think, is absolutely phenomenal.
It's lovely.
And it's going to be a great car for us to review when this comes out.
Definitely, for sure. So new from Lotus is the Emeya, and this is going to go up against the Porsche Taycan and that kind of premium level GT Tourers. And it's the new Lotus design language, and it looks good. I'm excited to get behind the wheel of one of these.
Now, another new brand making its debut here at Goodwood at the Festival of Speed is Xpeng, and this is their G6 model. This particular one is the Performance. I think orange is very much the colour of this year's Festival of Speed. Basically what you're looking at is a car around about the same size as Tesla Model Y, that sort of mid-size crossover. Very, very powerful. This is the dual motor one, and an 87.5 kilowatt hour battery in this car, giving a range of well over 300 claimed miles. Another new Chinese brand, but as I say, we're starting to see a lot of them come through, and that's quite a good looking car. And I'm going to be interested to see what the performance of this one's like. So interested, in fact, that I'm going to go up the hill in this one. The star of the show is this, the new Ford Capri.
It's a bit of a throwback in time, isn't it?
It really is. Are you going to be Bodie and I'll be Doyle, or we do it a different way around? Really quite a controversial thing, this, isn't it? Using the Capri name on what is now a 4-door, 5-door fastback coupe slash SUV style of car.
It's not very Capri-esque, is it?
It's not very Capri-esque, so I think, but again, I suppose they're using a nameplate that's very familiar.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's styling cues in there, aren't there, with this crease in the bonnet.
Running out the rear window line and all the rest of it. So what you're looking at here, folks, is a car that is, as I say, that sort of slightly raised ride height, 5-door semi-fastback car. It sort of shares a little bit of componentry with the new Explorer as well, the new platform, which is a component sharing with Volkswagen, because this sits on the MEB platform.
That's right, It's got great range, hasn't it?
Good range, so it's about 380 miles they're talking about WLTP range, so that could be a key point. And price is going to start probably around about the 42,000 mark. Single motor and dual motor. Battery size, I think, is just under the 80 kilowatt hours, I think 77 kilowatt hours. Yeah, shall we take a jump inside and see if there's some nice Recaros and some little sort of like fishnet head restraints as well? Well, I have found one little throwback to the original Capri. A little sort of like drilled steering column here. Essentially, this is the Ford Explorer inside. So there's lots of, and including this sort of like sliding screen.
I like that.
It's quite a good idea actually, because depending on how you want to use it, I think that's quite good.
It's very basic though, isn't it?
It is. That's it, and it does use a lot of the componentry from Volkswagen. These horrible slider controls that they always criticised whenever we've tested them. I don't know whether Ford are. I don't know whether they're just missed a trick. They've missed a bit of a trick here. I think so. They really could have sort of like led from the front of this rather than playing a little bit of catch up. I think
more retro styling kind of touches.
More retro styling. We know how popular resto mods are. Look at the Renault 5. That retro styling. How you can, if you do it right, you can. They could have done something similar, couldn't they? They could have done something really, really similar. Instead, what we have is something that looks a little bit like a facelifted Polestar 2. I think.
You're right, yeah.
We'll wait till we drive it. Another new brand here making its debut at Goodwood Festival of Speed is Omoda. So of course it's another new Chinese brand. But what's really interesting about this one is, as I say, they're very, very new. The brand itself is only 2 years old. So the design, the engineering and everything that's gone into it is very fresh indeed. And it's quite European in its sort of appearance, I think, this car. Now this is the E5. You're able to get it with obviously internal combustion engine, but this is the electric variant, the E5. You're looking at a battery size of 61 kilowatt hours, but believe it or not, a usable capacity of 60 kilowatt hours. So you're looking at a range around about 260 miles from it. But the big thing for me is the price of it. Prices in the UK are going to start at around about £32,000 for the basic car, and only a couple of £1,000 more for this range topper. So what you're looking at effectively is Nissan Qashqai size of car for a Nissan Juke price tag. I think this is going to be one to watch. Now it's all very well saying that the Chinese brands just are producing small family hatchbacks and crossovers, but what about supercars? Look at this. This is the Yangwang U9, which has 4 electric motors, so permanent 4-wheel drive. It's got an 80 kilowatt hour battery and it's capable of over 450 kilometres of range. I tell you what, there's a lot of McLaren going on at the front here, but it is a very striking looking car. And that's not the only thing they've got here to show us either, because they've also brought this, the U8, which is their big, large off-roader. And one thing that's starting to become very, very clear to me a lot about these, you know, the Chinese, the Korean brands, such as with the big Kia with the big EV9, they're going very unashamedly after that big chunky SUV market. It's almost like the European brands have kind of toned everything down, whereas the Eastern brands, they're pumping everything back up to get themselves noticed. What do we think of this? Well, I'm getting kind of Defender, Mercedes G-Wagon vibes from it. But if it's in the UK, I'm sure it'll be probably quite a popular car, I would think. Right, really different departure here, Charlie. This is the new Alfa Romeo Junior, which was originally called Milano, but after some legal triangles, it's now Junior.
There's a lot to live up to, isn't it, the Junior name, because it's steeped in history of like an amazing handling car.
Absolutely. And Alfa say, I mean, this is their first electric car, they say it does properly drive like an Alfa Romeo. Now,
that's right,
unfortunately, we weren't invited along to the first drive of the car. I'm bitter about that, of course. But from what I hear from people that have driven it, they say it does drive really well. And it's interesting because obviously we've seen cars from the sort of the Stellantis group share a lot of componentry.
That's right.
So it'll be interesting to see if they can really stand this one apart.
Make it stand out.
Make it a proper Alfa. I think on the inside design,
I love it. I think it looks great, doesn't it?
Digital dash, but it looks almost like the twin cowling that you get there, the little 3-spoke wheel.
It's got a sporty feel to it, hasn't it? I love all this.
Very much, and it does feel like it's going in the right direction, so here's hoping that the brand is going to...
And there are nods to the old styling as well, like these air vents. It reminds me of the old GT Junior almost.
Absolutely, you get the round air vents, you see the 3-spoke wheel, just everything seems very driver focused. There's not too much, it's not overwhelming with tech, just enough.
Yeah, I'm excited about this car.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one to get into, have a good drive in.
This is the new i5 Touring. I love this grey colour with all the black trim, it looks stunning. And last year, I don't know if you remember, in 2023, the i5 was our car of the year in the saloon version, and we just loved how that thing drove. And next couple of weeks, we're reviewing this, so check it out.
Now, also being seen at Goodwood for the first time is BMW Vision New Class. Now, it's fair to say that BMW styling has come in for a lot of criticisms over the last few years, not least from AutoEV itself. But this, they say, is a vision of where they're going with their new styling direction. And it's already been evidenced in the new X3, which will subsequently become obviously the iX3. And this little concept car is said to show the direction of the new 3 Series when it eventually is replaced. And I have to say, if it does, then I think they've finally got themselves back on the right track.
Now, you probably remember the name Ian Callum from Aston Martin, but this is a new offering from Callum. It's the Callum Skye. It's very much a concept, but it's a really fun electric vehicle, kind of a utility. Reminds me of the old kind of 70s tub beach buggies in a way. But I think it's fun and I really love it.
Well, here's a car it feels like we've been waiting
I
forever to
know,
see.
I was going to say,
The new Renault 5, and we've been really excited about this car.
I love it. It's great, isn't it?
Do you know, I'm going to say something maybe quite bold here. I'm almost preferring the interior of this to the new Alpine A290.
Yeah, I know
The
what
more
you're
kind of
saying.
Renault touches that just stand
The
out.
original Renault touches,
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's tons of recycled materials in here, isn't there?
Massive big focus on sustainability, which is hugely important, I think, with obviously electric cars these days. But it feels modern but normal. Does that make sense? It feels modern but normal.
Yeah.
I think Renault are on a real roll at the moment with electric cars.
They really are, yeah.
Experience with the Zoe.
And the price of this as well, like the starting point, 25,000.
It's going to be. That's the thing now. We're seeing much cheaper electric cars coming onto the market now, and this is good, very much, dare I suggest, if you pardon the pun, leading the charge.
Exactly.
Now, one of the big things that we've noticed this year at Goodwood is the sort of like a lot more presence of the Chinese brands, and this is one of them, Hongqi. Now, this is a Chinese brand that's very much towards the kind of luxury end of the market, and as much as they've got a lot of cars on display here, it's two of them that they've got that are fully electrified. There's this car, and of course there's the sort of like obligatory SUV, which is just sitting across the road from it. Now, there's no word on whether they're definitely launching in the UK, but it looks likely if they're showing themselves here, then it's a good possibility. And if that is the case, then I'd probably say we'll be looking at something in 2025. Could be the chance for this brand to make its way into the UK. But it's certainly showing off a very kind of modern, but yet very luxurious take from a Chinese brand and what they think the future of electric motoring could be like. Of course, Goodwood wouldn't be Goodwood without a heavy presence from Polestar, and this is their offering this year, the BST Concept. Now, it's based on the new Polestar 6, which itself is based on the O2 Roadster that we've done a sneak preview with. And BST, well, of course, it's that little shortening of the word beast that we saw with the BST 230 and, of course, BST 270 saloons. This is an exploration by Polestar to see where the BST brand could fit. Now remember, Polestar originally started off life as a motorsport engineering company, so performance is very much in their DNA, and this is exploring where perhaps a BST nameplate could fit within the Polestar brand moving forward.
Right, if we go around the back of the BST, it's just got such motorsport heavily inspired like touches to this huge like aero rear wing. It's on 22-inch wheels. They've increased the track on this. It just looks so sexy. You've got this massive diffuser under here, but it is just a design study at this point in time. But it's a look into the future for what Polestar are doing. I really like the look of this.
So that's it, folks, the Goodwood Festival of Speed 2024. It's been mostly sunny, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a bit of rain yesterday.
A little bit of rain yesterday. As somebody mentioned, it looked like Glastonbury with cars in it yesterday. But we've come through the other side, a little bit burnt and a little bit jaded. But you know, we've done the solid show. Charlie, what's been the big sort of like highlight for you, or the surprise for you this year?
It's the Chinese contingent. They're in such force, aren't they? The stands are huge. Like when you compare the size of their stands to Ford and Honda, they're minuscule, aren't they?
Yeah,
and so many new brands.
Absolutely, and because Goodwood is now such a force to be reckoned with in terms of, you know, a global show, it's a perfect platform in which to sort of like show their wares out here. And as you say, the size of the stands that they've dwarfed some of the European manufacturers.
They really have, and some bizarre names as well, like Hongqi and Yangwang. There's things I've never heard of.
We're going to have to start getting used to pronouncing them, that's for sure. Car for you, what's been the car that you're going to sort of like come away from this sort of like really sort of having enjoyed?
I think it's the It's the Alpha Junior, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it in the flesh before, but just looking around it, I really love it. It's got a nice feel about it. It's very Alfa-esque.
Very Alfa-esque. They've managed to do an Alfa in a small compact
Yeah.
SUV. There's tradition in there, but there's modernity as
There is
well, which I
modernity,
think
yeah.
there's really. And it is a car I think you've got to see in the flesh to really understand how good that car sits in
Yeah.
Alfa's brand, I think.
Definitely.
And it's very different to the other cars within the Stellantis group that shares a lot of componentry with it. Car you're not so fussed about. What's been the disappointment for you?
It would have to be the Ford Capri. Yeah, when they did the Mach-E and they took the cues from the Mustang, I thought, is that going to work? But it did work. But taking the Capri, that icon, and it just hasn't worked for me.
It's such an emotive name, especially in the UK.
For sure,
You know,
yeah.
and I have to say, it's quite an underwhelming looking car. I'm sure it's a very nice car to drive, but it's underwhelming. And I think that's the big problem. I think if to relaunch a brand name as Capri, it needed to be a real. I mean, if you look at MG with the Cyberster, and of course the new little Cyberster
Oh, it's
GT,
lovely, yeah, beautiful
you
car.
know, I mean, they've taken what MG's really good at and
Yes.
they've showcased it in a very modern take. I have to agree with you. I think that the Capri is going to be my disappointment of the show. I think it's just not what I expect from Ford, and I think Ford are really struggling in the EV market at the moment.
I think you're right, yeah.
They're not making headways like other brands are.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, I think the car for me has to be that little MG Coupe. I love that. I think that's a brilliant little car.
It is
and
lovely.
It was a real surprise to see it here. As I say, it was a world debut of the concept. But again, like you, the amount of Chinese brands that are here this year is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, folks. Hopefully you've enjoyed our quick kind of roundup of the 2024 Goodwood Festival of Speed. As always, please make sure that you are subscribed to the AutoEV channel, and then once you've done that, press the bell button down below, because that's how you get notified of when our next video is uploaded and it's gone live. If you've enjoyed it, then make sure you give it a thumbs up, and of course, don't forget, leave us your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let us know what you think about the things that have been here at Goodwood this year, maybe what you like and what you don't like as well.
Yeah, and check out the website. We've got over 200 videos now, and even if you're in the market for a second-hand car, something like an I-Pace or a Porsche or something like that, there's really great reviews.
All that remains for me to say is on behalf of Charlie and myself, thank you for joining us at Goodwood in 2024. We'll see you again soon.